At this point, everybody's starting to learn the big names in this running back class. Caleb Johnson, Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, on and on and on. We're hearing about the same 5, 6, 7 guys over and over and over in this class. And granted, it's a great class. We should be talking about these players. But I want to bring up a few names that maybe are a little bit under the radar that I still think could provide some good sneaky value later on in your rookie drafts this coming year at the running back position. And let's start here with a guy that specifically I think could help a lot in the receiving game, and that's LeQuint Allen. Yes, he did plenty on the ground. He rushed for over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Wasn't the best offensive line, but I don't think he's an amazing inside runner. A little bit undersized, coming in at 208 pounds, even though he is 6 foot. So maybe he'll grow into his frame a little bit. But what I'm really interested in and what he did in the receiving game. Over 500 yards in the receiving game and 4 receiving touchdowns. So this is a player that is built for today's NFL because most teams are looking for a player that can catch the football. That doesn't mean they'll be their full-time running back. It might just be in a part-time role. But somebody like this could end up having some really good value for fantasy football. He looked good at the Senior Bowl, got some good buzz, and it's a name that's trending in the right direction. He's not the biggest name, and he might not even be the most talented player, but this junior out of Syracuse, I do think could end up being a sneaky value add in your fantasy football drafts. My favorite guy of this group's the second guy we're going to talk about here, Kyle Monangai. This guy out of Rutgers, we're looking at about 5'9", 210 pounds, but man, he plays physical. And what I love, you see the numbers are solid. Over 1,200 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, added a little bit through the air with 75 yards and a touchdown there, but they didn't throw to the running backs very much. But what I really like from Monangai is a few things. One, so often he makes the first player wrong, whether that's by making them miss or running through them, using physicality. He's got all kinds of ways that he can make guys wrong, but he does that really well. And specifically in the backfield, just in the USC game alone, there were 3 or 4 different opportunities where a defender had the chance to get him down in the backfield and he made the defender wrong. Usually it was by making a miss, a really nice dead leg. He's got a real nice one. This is a guy that does a lot of things right, and he maxes out his potential, which I think a lot of times we get obsessed with upside, but this is somebody that takes every ounce of talent he has and maximizes it. Kind of reminds me of a Bucky Irving without the receiving side of it, but in the running game, kind of reminds me of a Bucky Irving, a guy that isn't the fastest, isn't necessarily this next level athlete, but does everything right, runs really smart, really good vision. And I think Kyle Monangai is a player that's sneaky in this class that I think I'm going to be a lot higher on than other people. Last under the radar running back that I want to talk about, Jarquez Hunter. This is a guy that's 5'10", 210 pounds, and he came out of Auburn, 1,200-yard rusher, had 8 touchdowns this past season, added another touchdown and 155 yards through the air. Now with Jarquez Hunter, he has a really nice all-around game. Watching him play, there was solid patience in his game to be able to continue to get to the next level. And you saw he didn't have that next level speed, but he was really good in kind of that linebacker secondary range. So that second level of the defense of finding avenues and alleys to be able to get those chunk plays, those 15 to 25 yard runs. Jarquez Hunter was really, really good at doing those kinds of things. He's a smart player that plays bigger than his size would necessarily indicate. And remember, he's doing this in the SEC, a very good conference for football, put up 6.4 yards per carry. So it's not like he was just fed a stupid amount of carries. No, he put up some really good numbers. And he had times where he put the team on his back. I mean, you look at the Kentucky game, in that game, 23 carries, 278 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. So, I mean, he just totally put the team on his back. He had another 150-yard game, 130-yard game. So there were times where he would just absolutely carry the team. But he would also put up big games against big-time opponents, 91 yards against Georgia, 97 yards against Oklahoma. And that's just on the running game, not to mention what he added in the receiving game as well. So Jarquez Hunter, he's not the most physically gifted player, but a smart player on the field that's going to offer a decent amount of upside, but he's got a very safe floor. So all three of these players are guys that I'm keeping an eye on. All of them, for different reasons, aren't in the elite category at this point, but all of them, I think the combine is going to be really, really big for them. I want to see what kind of numbers they're putting up. I want to see how they look in the receiving drills for Jarquez and Monangai. I want to see what does the combine weigh-in look like for these guys. I want to see all of these different little things, and like the gauntlet. The gauntlet, I think, is going to be a big one. I just want to see how these guys look against their peers, but all of them are ones that I'm kind of marking and just keeping an extra eye on in my upcoming drafts.